If you've been dreaming of relocating to a new city, it's time to get to know Tampa, Florida. In recent years, Tampa has consistently ranked high in the list of prime relocation destinations in the United States. And today, we're going to explore why so many people are choosing to call Tampa, Florida home. From cost of living to its booming economy, to top-rated schools and overall quality of life, here's why Tampa is a top choice for those looking to make a fresh start. If we've never met before, my name is Juan Alcala, and I make videos that are all things Tampa Bay. What it's like to live here, what it's like to work here, what it's like to play here, the food, the dining, the outdoors, the beaches, and the sunshine. A little over 6 years ago, my wife Kate and I packed up our family of 5, sold almost everything we owned, and moved 1,200 miles south here to the Tampa Bay area and have been loving it ever since. I'm also a licensed realtor and a team leader here with the True Living Group, where we help people just like you buy, sell, relocate, and invest here in the Tampa Bay area. If you want to get hold of us and you have more questions, there are 2 ways to do that. Number 1, you can leave a comment or a question down below in the chat. Happy to answer those. I don't have an assistant or a bot answering those questions. The second way, which is really the best way, is to schedule a time to jump in my calendar. We'll jump on a Zoom call and get you started on the process. Now, I think a lot of us know that Florida has been one of the most popular relocation destinations over the last 5 years. And as a matter of fact, in 2022 and 2023, over 1,000 people every day were relocating to the state. That is a huge number. But here's the really interesting thing. Over 141 people every day chose to call Tampa Bay their home. Now, that's a pretty good chunk. That's over 10% of everybody moving choosing to call one area home. And I know there are other areas like Orlando and Jacksonville and Miami, but we have 22 million residents and a lot of coastline. There's a lot of options. So why are so many people choosing to call Tampa Bay home? Well, that's what we're gonna get into today. We're gonna talk about the job market and the booming economy here. We're gonna talk about the cost of living. We're gonna talk about the outdoor lifestyle, which people absolutely love. We're gonna talk about the thriving art and cultural scene that we have here. And most importantly, we're gonna talk about top-rated schools, because that is absolutely one of the most important and often questions that we get when I'm on Zoom calls with people who are considering making this relocation a reality. The first thing I want to cover is the thriving job market and our economic growth here in Tampa, because Tampa's economy is booming, and it has been over the last few years. We've got really diverse industries that are driving this growth. The city's established itself as a hub for healthcare, finance, tech for sure. I mean, we're the unofficial tech hub of Florida. Logistics with major employers like Baycare Health Systems, JP Morgan Chase, Tech Data. We have defense contracting. Education is huge here with the colleges, USF and University of Tampa and St. Pete College. There is a lot going on. The job market keeps expanding, and they're offering competitive salaries and career advancement opportunities, which is super important to a lot of people. And for tech professionals, Tampa has really become a rising star here in the South. You know, you've got other areas like the Triangle up in North Carolina, but Tampa is really the unofficial tech hub of Florida. And we've drawn a lot of interest from young working professionals and, seasoned professionals in the industry as well. The biggest thing that I've noticed has been a cybersecurity draw, getting a lot of Zoom calls, and people are coming for the cybersecurity jobs. We've got a pretty big boom in crypto as well. There's a lot of startups here in the area, and we seem to be attracting some serious talent from Silicon Valley, so it's very interesting. Additionally, Tampa's location within the I-4 corridor and having access to 275 and 75 that connect us to major cities like Orlando and Miami, and being on the Bay here, making an ideal location for businesses that rely on logistics and transportation, further making us an attractive option when it comes to being an economic center. Now, when it comes to the cost of living, this is one of those things. Some people will find Tampa extremely affordable. Other people will say that it's crazy expensive. And honestly, you've got to compare it versus where you currently live. One of my favorite tools to use to find out how far your money goes here in Tampa is called the Forbes Cost of Living Calculator. I share this with all of our clients. It is a very useful tool because it'll really tell you, okay, I'm gonna make X amount of dollars. I live here currently. This spends like X. I'm moving to Tampa and it's going to spend like Y. That is a very valuable resource, but I want to give you some comparisons. Yahoo came out with an article that said that Tampa ranks as the number 16 most expensive major city in the United States to live in, sandwiched directly in between Orlando, Florida, and Dallas, Texas. And it's also comparable with areas like Austin, Phoenix, and Philadelphia. So maybe that'll give you some insights. Would I call it cheap? No, I don't think anything in the United States is cheap anymore. We all know that our money doesn't go as far as it used to. Is it crazy expensive? No, I feel like I get a tremendous amount of value for my dollar. That's why I chose to move here. But it does cost me more money now than it did 6 years ago. But that's the United States. I can look back to when I was a child and things were much cheaper. The one thing I know I can count on is prices continuing to rise across the board. I know that's true, but I feel like I get a tremendous amount of value here, and it's one of the reasons that we chose to live here. I still run my real estate practice back in Metro Detroit. I moved from there 6 years ago, but I still have a team. The housing in Metro Detroit is cheaper. Detroit was a very rough area for a long time. It's part of the reason why we left. However, the property taxes on homes out there are outrageous compared to what I pay here in Tampa. I can sell a $500,000 or $600,000 home in Metro Detroit and pay the same amount on property taxes for those clients as we do for $1 million property here in Tampa. So it is definitely different. Also, we don't have any state income tax. Now, if you make a lot of money, that matters. If you don't make a whole bunch of money, that may not affect you tremendously, but if you're moving from areas that tax you north of 8% on your income at a state level, I mean, California is 13%. Depending on your income bracket. Those things matter, and that's why a lot of people choose to relocate here, right? Also, cities like Miami and New York and San Francisco, they have outrageous cost of living compared to Tampa. So this is relative for you. I know how it works for us, and I've done an entire video on the cost of living where Kate and I actually broke down our budget. We share with you guys what we pay. I will put that in the description down below. That way you have access to that. As a matter of fact, I'll put it at the end here, so you can just click right on it and move forward into that video. But at the time of this video, what is it going to cost to buy you a home if you move here? Well, the average home sale is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, right around 1,968 square feet in the city of Tampa. And this is very similar in the entire Tampa Bay area. And that's coming in right around $462,000. The average home is sitting on the market for about 42 days. We've moved into a buyer's market, if you will. And they can range from anywhere, down into $100,000 on the low end. Now, that would be a complete gut job or maybe a mobile home, or manufactured home, if you will, that owns its own land. So I want to make sure I'm giving perspective. That's not going to be a brand new 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,000 square foot home. Those are going to cost right around 350 plus, and you can spend multi-millions, right? It is nothing to find a home in the Tampa Bay area for $5, $10, $15 million. So just keep that in perspective. The third reason, and the one that most of our clients choose to move to Florida, is the lifestyle. We have over 260 days of sunshine every single year. You can count on that. Do we have rain? Do we have inclement weather? Are we in a subtropical environment with humidity? Yep, all of that's true. But as someone who spent 6 months of their lives basically living indoors every single winter, I was willing to exchange the challenges that I knew I would face just to see the sun again. And I am a sun worshiper. It's something that I cannot stress enough how much it changed my attitude, my wife's attitude. It's something that we love, but that may not be for you. So just keep that in mind. Not everyone likes hot temperatures. And a lot of people talk about weather, but it's important to understand the differences between where you are and where you want to be. From November through April, our average temperatures are 70 degrees. That's incredible. Now, today is one of the coldest days in the year. It actually snowed in Pensacola. They got 9 inches of snow, which is crazy. And that's a huge part of the reason why we chose not to live in Jacksonville or the Panhandle, because of the threat of getting snow. Now, it hasn't happened in like 8 or 10 years or something like that. But for me, that's far too many. I'm moving away from the whole thing. For you, you might love that, and that is okay. You will get a little bit more seasonality to the north. But for us, we were looking for those mild winter temperatures, right? The 70, 60 degrees, but today it's 41 degrees and windy and cold. It does happen. This is winter. It usually lasts about 2 or 3 weeks. In a week from now, we're supposed to be back in the 70s. So I'm here for it. I'll take that short hiatus. But when it comes to the quality of life, right? Whether it's going out and boating on the Gulf of Mexico, or is it now the Gulf of America? I'm not sure. It's like when I was growing up, Pluto was a planet. I don't know what's going to happen right now. I believe that it was changed. Executive order. I don't have a clue. Let me know. Are you guys going to call it the Gulf of Mexico or the Gulf of America? I'm fascinated by this conversation, by the way. But we've got world-class beaches, including, Clearwater Beach and Siesta Key Beach to the south, was just an hour and a half. We got St. Pete Beach, Lido Key. There's so many beautiful beaches in our area. And whether you're, a kayaker, a boater, a paddleboarder, maybe you're a runner or a cyclist, our outdoor activities are second to none. The amount of golf courses we have in this state is astronomical. We have hundreds of parks that you can take advantage of with your families for free. So there is a lot to do when it comes to the lifestyle. And for us, that is a majority of our clients who tend to move here. That's most likely you if you're watching these videos too. So I completely resonate. It's the reason we moved here. The Gulf of Mexico stole our heart. We absolutely love our beach town. Wouldn't give it up for the world, but we also love going to downtown Tampa too. So I feel you on that. The fourth thing on my list is our thriving sports, arts, and cultural scene. Now, depending on who you talk to, people are gonna say that Tampa's not diverse. I personally think that's crazy. Moving from Metro Detroit, where we were extremely diverse, the big three automakers attracted a lot of engineers from across the world, right? When I moved to Tampa, I was experienced to just a different type of culture. We have the Cuban influence here. You can go down to Ybor City and go check out the district down there where the cigar factories used to be, and it's just so cool and gives a different flair to the community. There's a Italian influence in the areas here. You also have some African influence in the area. It's just so many different things that make it unique. And one of the things I love is the museums we have. You've got the Museum of Science and Industry, the Mosey Center down in Tampa, right next to Curtis Hickson Park. You've got the Dolly Museum in St. Pete and the Art Museum there. And there's just so many different things between the nightlife and the culture and the sports, the Buccaneers and the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Rays. And we have all the spring training. There's just so many things to get into. I swear that if you can't find something fun to do in Tampa, your fun button is broken. That's just the reality of it. And whether it's downtown, whether it's on the Gulf of Mexico, out in areas like Clearwater and St. Pete, or whether it's in historic areas like Ybor, there's just a ton to do. And we have not found, in 6 years, we have not run out of things new to go experience or find. And the other thing that we find really attractive to the area is how welcoming people have been. Now, I know if you read the comments in videos like this, you'll see a bunch of people hating on people who move to Florida. And guess what? If you go look at any other videos helping people just like yourselves relocate to an area, you'll find that too. Because guess what? There are just some people in this world who are just destined to be unhappy, and that's okay. But the thing I've learned over time is you carry your weather with you, unless it's dark and gloomy all the time, but you can definitely carry your attitude with you. And if you want to find, great people and good things, you're going to find that. If you want to find trouble, you can find that anywhere in the country too. And just keep that in mind. But one of the things we have loved about our experience here, and so have the people we moved, is the amount of incredible activities, the culture, the arts, the sciences, and the entertainment that you can have here in Tampa Bay. It's just incredible. So now I want to get into schools because this has been discussed many times. People have lots of opinions about Florida education, but it has been ranked one of the best states for education in the country for 2 consecutive years. And when I say that, people are like, that's crazy. I'll link the article below. You guys can go check it out for yourself. I'm not telling you that Florida has the best education. I assure you that you can put your child in one of the highest ranked education schools on the planet and they could have a poor experience. It has a lot to do with the family backing the child being interested in the actual studies, and the educators on the other end, as well as the administration. I understand that. There are so many factors. I am a child of public education, and boy, did I make a lot of mistakes, and boy, did I make it really hard on my teachers, and I still ended up having a good experience, and I feel like I turned out pretty well, even though I was in one of the poorest districts in the area I lived in Metro Detroit, and that can happen for anyone. Education is very personal. However, I know that people rely heavily on the rankings, and I do recognize that there is value there. So I want to give you a couple of resources. First one is greatschools.org, and the other one is niche.com. That's one of my favorite websites just to get a general sense of a community overall. They talk about things like diversity and education and employment and cost of living and housing. There's a lot of factors on there. And Great Schools is a place where parents can go and actually leave reviews. So that's a good opportunity as well. Another little hack that I try to share with people is once you've kind of found the community that you think you're really interested in, get into the Facebook Facebook groups and ask the parents directly. All right, just be careful when people make comments. You know, sometimes they have a poor experience, but the thing I always like to ask people when I see comments like that is like, can you share with me why this experience went this way? And that'll kind of help give you some insights, because let's be honest, y'all, there are parents who are completely disengaged from their child's education. And there are parents who are absolutely engaged. And the quality of the answer that you're going to get would be dramatically different from those two types of approaches when it comes to education. There are people who believe that it is the education's department to educate our children. And I'm not one of those. So again, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. I always share that with people, right? But for you, maybe you are someone who is actively engaged, and their school time is only one portion of that education overall. So if that's you, just keep that in mind. There are great schools. I've done a whole video on that as well, but you got schools like Steinbrenner High School, Land O'Lakes, East Lake. There are all, I can go on for days. You know, you got the University of South Florida when you get into college, University of Tampa, and St. Pete College. There's a lot of collegiate opportunity that is well recognized here in the state also. And again, do your homework. Please don't take what I'm saying or any of these articles as the gospel, if you will. When it comes to your child's education, do yourself a favor. Do homework, right? You can find people to help you with housing, but when it comes to raising your children and making sure that they get the best education possible, like I said, that is on us as parents and the education system combined, right? So, and the buck's got to stop with me. That's just the reality of it. Please don't take this as me preaching at you. I just want to share where I'm coming from. So if that aligns or resonates with you at all, you know why I shared what I shared. So hope this helped. And y'all, if you have any more questions about moving here to the greater Tampa Bay area, do not hesitate to reach out to me and my team. All of my contact information is listed down below. Like I said, there's even a link to my calendar. Happy to jump on a Zoom, answer any questions you have, whether it's about education, jobs, best places to live. We're here to help. And until next time, and as always, go out and live that Tampa life.